Hey everyone, today we're going to discuss about the test of difference of independent samples. So yung last lesson natin, we've talked about the test of normality. Now this time naman, let's compare two groups or more than two groups using the test of difference. Okay. In performing a test of difference between two samples, we have to consider the assumptions in interpreting data. Remember yung statistical assumptions natin, yung apat, homogeneity of variances, normality, independence of samples, and linearity. So, consider natin yan. And we have to determine if the samples are independent or related. Yung last previous lesson natin, di ba napag-aralan natin na meron tayong iba't ibang statistical test sa inferential statistics. Maraming pwedeng statistical test na pwedeng gamitin, right? Yon. But for now, we're just gonna focus on independent samples muna. Okay? Now, we've learned last time na merong parametric and non-parametric test, and it is actually mas preferred gamitin si parametric test because these parametric tests has more statistical power than their non-parametric counterpart. However, si parametric test mahigpit na dapat nasusunod yung statistical assumption kasi kapag hindi nasunod yung statistical assumption, we will use the non-parametric test. Okay? So if there are two groups and the groups are independent and we compare the difference, we will use the independent samples t-test. Pero if there are more than two groups, we will use the one-way ANOVA for independent measures. So, ganun kapag we will use parametric test. Kapag dalawang groups, independent samples t-test. Kapag more than two groups, one-way ANOVA for independent measures. Pero kahit ma-violate yung statistical assumptions, in most cases, pwede pa rin gamitin yung independent samples t-test at saka yung one-way ANOVA for independent measures because these two tests are said to be robust, which means that even if the assumptions are violated, they can still provide accurate results. So, kahit hindi siya normally distributed, okay pa rin gamitin itong dalawang to kasi robust naman sila. For non-parametric test, ito usually ginagamit naman kapag ang data mo ay ordinal. Ito nga pala itong dalawang to, independent samples t-test and one-way ANOVA for independent measures, ginagamit ito kapag continuous or scaled ang data. Kapag ordinal, ito ginagamit. Kapag two groups, we use the Mann-Whitney U-test. Kapag more than two groups, we use the Kruskal-Wallis H-test. And kapag nominal ang data natin, we use the chi-square test. Kapag more than two groups, pwedeng gamitin pa yung si chi-square test. Yung data analysis function dun sa Excel, ang meron lang siya ay independent samples t-test and one-way ANOVA. For the other test, we have online calculators. Ito, I'll be providing you links kung paano natin i-access itong mga online calculators na to. So, I'll give you this document naman. You can just click on the link na lang so that you would have the online calculator. Now, in interpreting the data, we have a given null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. For the null hypothesis, there's no significant difference between the two or more variables. And alternative hypothesis, there's a significant difference between the two or more variables. So, ganun lang kapag meron tayong test of difference. Ang null hypothesis mo, walang significant difference. Ang alternative hypothesis mo, may significant difference. So, in most cases, ang gusto natin malaman dito is may significant difference sila. Okay, this suggests that there's an effect on what you've done in your study. The level of significance that we will use is alpha is equal to 0.05. If p is greater than 0.05, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. But you might be wondering, ano bang ibig sabihin ng p-value nito? Ang p-value nito, this is the probability of error. Ito yung chances na magkamali tayo. Na remember yung type 1 error na ma-reject natin yung null hypothesis pero totoo pala siya. Ito yun. Ito yung chances na mag-commit tayo ng type 1 error. So, kapag greater than or equal to 0.05 siya, we do not reject the null hypothesis. We fail to reject. walang enough evidence na masasabi natin na there is a significant difference between the two or more variables. But if p is less than 0.05, we reject the null hypothesis because the chance of us of getting a type 1 error is actually low, less than 0.05. There's enough evidence to say that there's a significant difference between the two or more variable. Now, kung may significant difference in dalawang variable, we can determine kung how large ba yung difference nila using the Cohen's d effect size. Yan. I-google nyo yan, marami namang calculators niyan actually. So, example tayo. A researcher is conducting a study on the best method of losing weight. He conducted a study among 90 participants, divided into three groups A, B, and C. Group A were subjected to a dietary plan. Group B were subjected to an exercise program. Group C were subjected to both the dietary plan and an exercise program. The weight loss of the three groups in kilograms after 30 days were presented on the table below. So, ito yung tatlong groups. Ito yung weight loss nila after 30 days lang. Dami, di ba? So, question, what's the appropriate test that should be used in this data? Is there significant difference between the three variables? So, yung first step natin, determine natin yung appropriate test. So, the variables being compared in this case are the weight loss of the participants with different dietary plans. So, weight loss siya. So, the variables are in a continuous scale kasi measured siya in kilograms. We are comparing three groups. So, gagamitin natin yung pang more than two groups. Hindi tayo titingin din sa two groups lang. Okay? And the groups are being compared. The group being compared are three different groups and the results do not affect one another. Remember, independent, one participant does not affect the other. So, kapag more than two independent and we are using a continuous scale, we make use of the one-way ANOVA for independent measures. Yan yung gagamitin natin. Okay? Anong hypothesis natin? There's no significant difference between the weight loss of the given three groups of participants. Null, walang significant difference. Alternative, there is a significant difference. So, yan. To-check natin yung p-value from the test kung i-reject ba natin yung null hypothesis or hindi. So, let's access a calculator here. Yan. It's the same link with I have presented here. So, gagamitin natin ito. One-way ANOVA for independent measures. So, yan. Ito yung calculator natin. We just input the values here. So, input natin. You can just actually copy and paste the data. Just like that. So, input natin. Yan. And the third one's right here. Yan. Check natin, baka mayroon tayong spaces. So, significance level, 0.05. Yan naman natin lagay gamitin, okay? And calculate. As we can see here, maraming lalabas sa data, pero ang importante naman dyan ay itong nasa ilalim. Yung p-value niya. Sabi dito, less than 0.00001. So, yung probability na mag-commit tayo ng type 1 error ay less than 0.00001 or less than 0.001%. Ayan. Nandito rin siya. This suggests that P is less than 0.05. Therefore, we reject the null hypothesis and consider the alternative hypothesis. So, ano ba yung null? Ang null natin, walang significant difference. So, we reject this. We reject this and we consider the alternative hypothesis. Ano yung alternative hypothesis natin? May significant difference. So, ibig sabihin nun, yung result ng tatlong groups ay magkakaiba. Magkaiba, magkaiba, magkaiba. So, magkakalayo yung weight loss nila. So, ibig sabihin, may effect yung plans nila. So, sino bang mas effective dito? Yung dietary plan ba? Yung exercise lang? Or parehas? So, hindi pa na-answer ni ANOVA yon. Ang sinagot lang ni ANOVA, itong tatlong to, magkaiba. Para ma-answer kung sino yung mas maganda, we can make use of the mean, or we can also compare them two at a time. Pwede naman, using independent samples t-test. So, yun, there is a significant difference between the weight loss of the three groups. This means that there are groups which had more weight loss than the others. So, ayun. That's how we perform the one-way ANOVA for independent measures. Basta may calculator ka and you just input the data, it would give you the p-value and it's all good. So, interpret na ng interpret. Yun ang may input. Ang importante naman sa pag-perform sa statistical test is alam mo kung paano interpret. Okay? So, ayun. May isang example dito. Aralan na example. So, if you want to determine if there's a significant difference between groups of data, we use the test of difference between groups. There are several tests that we can apply depending on the kind of variable that we have. One of the important considerations we have to make is to verify if the groups are independent or not. If we are dealing with more than one group and the results of each group do not influence one another, then the groups are independent. Basta ang cue naman natin kapag independent is na-test lang siya one time. Kapag repeated, dalawang beses tinest in two different points of time. So that's it for the test of difference of independent samples. So, aralin na maigi to ha. I hope you learned a lot today. Thank you guys for watching and see you guys on the next video.